Hey, just here to make a positive interruption to your afternoon. So, speaking of contagious, right now we all carry something incredibly contagious. And it really is critical. It's critical that we become as aware of what this is as we are about spreading the contagious virus. Have you already figured out what it is? Well, it's our attitude. Believe it or not, if you're in leadership, you understand this, you've seen it. Attitude is highly contagious. Now, I actually think I just heard some of you take a breath of relief, like, huh, was that it? Was that all? But no, attitude is critical. Your attitude determines your altitude. It determines how you come through a situation, a crisis. It determines who you become. Our attitude determines whether we will influence people around us in a positive way and move forward, or in fact, infect the people around us in not so positive ways, or maybe even worse, get stuck in a deep rut. And really, no business can afford that. Besides, what's the difference between a rut and a grave? Just the dimensions. Now, my name is Darlene with Just BTC, a leadership training company in Medicine Hat, and we're here to support leaders and businesses by helping to build strong teams and positive work environments, especially during times like this. So today, I just want to take a few minutes to talk to you about the importance of our attitude. And then tonight, we actually go a little bit further and we dig into, through our free Zoom training, we dig into the 3 attitudes that will allow you to accomplish anything that you set your mind to. Really, you're going to want to check it out. So now we know that attitude isn't everything, but it is the main thing. Now understand that it isn't everything. Someone may have a good attitude, but they might be incompetent. So while the good news is they have a good attitude, the bad news is they just got fired. The good news is if you fire a person with a great attitude, they actually feel good about it because they think, wow, great time for me to pursue something new, right? So attitude isn't everything, but it is the main thing. The thing is, it's easy to take our attitude for granted though, until it really starts to stink. And sometimes we're not even aware of our attitude or how it's affecting the people around us. It kind of reminds me of a story when my kids were younger and still living at home. We actually owned a restaurant that our kids grew up working in. And one night my oldest son came home from working the late shift, and of course the rest of the family was sleeping. And apparently somebody left the dog outside. So my son let the dog in. And good thing, because there was obviously a skunk somewhere close by. So the dog ran upstairs to where he usually slept in one of the other kids' rooms. And my son went down to his room and went to sleep. And at some point, I woke up to this strong, foul skunk smell. And I got up because I thought I got to close the windows. But the smell it was still really strong. And I thought, maybe there's a skunk in the house. Oh, pretty soon the smell was so bad, no one was sleeping. And we were all looking for a skunk. And the smell was definitely getting stronger. And well, we were so focused on looking for the skunk in the house that we didn't even notice that the dog was following us around. And then it dawned on us, it's the dog. The dog smells like a skunk. The dog must have got sprayed by a skunk. And attitude is just like that. It really does. It follows us around and it gives off an odor, either pleasant or foul. And it's easy to focus on something or someone else to blame. But in the end, attitude is just one of those you and you deals. We're either influencing the people around us with a positive attitude, or we're infecting the people around us with a bad attitude. Oh yeah, and the best part of that story is that after we cleaned up and scrubbed everyone and everything, we thought the smell was gone. And so I sent my kids to school and well, they got sent back very quickly. And you see, sometimes we get so used to the smell and being around the smell that we don't even notice it. And our attitudes are the same way. Sometimes we get so used to our attitude that we don't even realize that it stinks, but everyone else around us do. So our attitude controls our life. But the good news is you control your attitude. See, attitude reveals what's inside of us, especially when the squeeze is on, like a crisis or circumstances. But it's all about what's coming out of us when the squeeze is on. Like a tube of toothpaste. Once pressure is applied and the toothpaste comes out, you can't put it back in. It's out there. It's the same with our attitude. Once it's out there, it's out there. Because really, our attitude, it really, its roots are inward, but its fruits are outward. It's either your best friend or your worst enemy. It's actually more honest and consistent about us than our words are. And it really is it's our outward perspective based on our past experiences. It's what draws people to us, but it also repels people from us. Thing about our attitude, it's never content until it's expressed. Our attitude, it can become it is the historian of our past, it's the speaker of our present, and it's the prophet of our future. And attitude, it's made up of 3 ingredients: thoughts, feelings, and actions. And when we surrender any of these, guaranteed we will have a bad attitude. Think about it. When you bake a cake, if you've ever baked a cake before, you have to put all the ingredients in order for the cake to turn out and get the results that you want, right? So if you forget to put the baking powder in the cake, you get a pancake, not a cake. And same with our attitudes. We really have to consider how our thoughts affect our feelings and our feelings affect our actions. And if we surrender and give up any one of those, then, well, things don't go so well. And those ingredients, they work together to create our attitude. And we have to intentionally pay attention to where our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions are. Have you ever noticed that how you feel about someone affects your thoughts about them, and then it affects your actions towards them? That's the power of attitude. Do you believe it's possible to have a bad attitude towards someone and encourage them at the same time? Well, you can try, but guaranteed they're going to feel that it's fake, because it's actually impossible to be grumpy and grateful at the same time. Now, I know we've all said things like, well, I have a bad attitude because that person they made me mad, or they made me do that. It's because of how they reacted, or if they wouldn't have done this, then I wouldn't be feeling like this. But the truth is, and I love how my mentor, Paul Martinelli, says, if someone can make you mad, glad, or sad, you've been had. And it's so true, because our attitude, it's our responsibility. It's our response to our ability. And that means it's up to us to be intentional about taking care of it, because our attitude is contagious. Lee Cockrell, he's a former CEO of Disney. He said there's 3 kinds of people we can be based on our attitude. Number 1, we can be well poisoners. This is when we surrender and we give away our personal power. You know those 3 ingredients? And we end up discouraging others. We stomp on creativity. We tell people why things can't be done. And really, with that kind of attitude, we sort of suck the life out of everyone around us. Definitely doesn't help. Or number 2, we can become, with the wrong attitude, we can become the lawnmower. More self-absorbed attitude, and we're only concerned about mowing our own lawn and not worried about helping anybody else through theirs. You know those people that mow right along the property line and not an inch over and not an inch short, and not really contributing to the success of anyone else. And really, they're not even really aware of the message that they're sending in doing it. Or number 3, we can become life enhancers, people who reach out to enrich the lives of others, and with an attitude that we want to lift up, inspire other people. That kind of attitude, it really does enrich the lives of attitude. And we know that attitude is within our power. It's a choice. And choice, we know, is a function of awareness. And when we pay attention and we become aware of what our attitude is doing and what we can do to change about it, then we can do something to change it. No one wants to be a well poisoner with a negative influence. No one wants to be a lawnmower only concerned about themselves. We all want to be life enhancers, right? Influencing positively and moving everyone forward. So right now, we're all very aware of not cross-contaminating the coronavirus, being very careful not to transfer it to anyone or anything. But my question is, in the same way, are we aware of our attitudes being cross-contaminated? You see, I believe we're going to come through this season stronger than how we came into it. Not weaker and barely surviving, but stronger. And being in a place of thriving if we develop the right attitude in the midst of it. And there really are 3 attitudes that we can develop that will allow us to accomplish anything that we set our mind to. And tonight at 6:30, we're gonna really take a deeper look into these 3 attitudes and discover how to develop these attitudes so that we and the people that we influence and the businesses that we're part of can thrive. So send me, if you want, I can send me an email to dar@justbtc, and I'll send you a Zoom link to join us. So remember, if you develop the habits of success, you make success a habit. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you feel encouraged, and remember, your attitude is contagious. So see you tonight.